Hi there. Every Sunday, a group of autistic people get together and drop in. It's an informal group, but some of the things that people say deserve a bigger audience. So they give us permission for us to put them in an edited reel, and that's what we're here for. Today's edited reel of the conversations that we have about our own autism. Cheers, enjoy.
Fabulosa.
Good evening, everybody. Said on Barton game yesterday. Get beat, but that wasn't the main talking point. After 2 weeks ago, the last home game, where the Alba fans put a flare onto the park and lighting a flare, you can't. There was complaints, and you're not allowed to. It's meant to be illegal. And there was even a statement from the club: please do not do this. This could get us into trouble. We're in financial difficulty. We might get a fine. It's against rules, etc. And then the idiot so-called ultras did it yesterday. And then they were thrown out. I mean, I'm going... And people keep saying about, but they add to the atmosphere. What are they talking about, adding to the atmosphere? What it did yesterday is it distracted from the game I was watching to see what was going on. Apart from that, it was a good day out. How's everybody else?
You don't want any more financial penalties, Harry, do you? Because the club have already been hit with that. Well, wasn't financial penalty, you were docked points, which is why you're languishing at the bottom of the table, really, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, this is the rain fans, you know what I mean? It's like they were trying to get the revenge on the opposition fans, but the fans that did it aren't there. It was Montrose that was there. I just don't get it. There's this sort of, we see it on the telly. They do it abroad. Celtic and Rangers do it. Aberdeen does it. And I'm going, that doesn't make it right. It's just like, I feel the public, in many ways, are damn selfish in what is entertainment and what is lack of safety. I mean, come on. Football's for everybody. Well, for everybody's interest in it, of course. It just really frustrates me how people do these dangerous acts that could cause injury to themselves, to anybody else, it's just... And the financial penalty, well, the financial penalty, would be, a fine from the Scottish FA or even Europe. Can certainly do without that, but there's this massive defence saying that they add to the atmosphere, and I'm going, I don't know what you're talking about. Singing and banging a drum, which is not my big thing either, but I get how that can add to an atmosphere, but creating smoke and nearly creating a fire, that's atmosphere. No, I don't think so. But the worst thing about it is Dumbarton could beat as well and remain 8 points at the bottom. But, yep. Well, Jules, yep. Oh, hello to Robbie as well. This autistic wanting rules to work sensitivity, yes. Maybe I'm just too sensitive for football, eh? No, but in serious, it is. That's 2 home games I've been in. I've never seen it before, of these flares, or whatever you want to call them, getting set off. They're miles away from I am. I'm safe, but I'm just thinking about the people are over there and why people do it in the first place. Rant over.
Well, I'm breaking in a new set of dentures, so you might hear them clicking now and then.
That must be worse than getting new shoes.
It affects things, your bite, and ill-fitting is a thing I know all about. So kind of try to figure out how to basically eat with it first of all, and then speak. So certain words were giving me a lot of difficulty, like stress. That one's really hard.
Just apologies to Robbie and Nicola there. I was too busy talking. I forgot to add you into the conversations, but you're here now, so welcome. Too busy ranting, but now I've stopped.
Thanks, Harry. I was happy just to jump in and join in.
Talking about new shoes, that's one of my biggest nightmares, is actually trying to get some that fit.
Yeah, same. Like, I kind of get a pair of shoes and wear them till they fall apart. Like, I've never been somebody who's been able to donate my own second-hand clothes, because I prefer the ones that are pretty familiar. I really don't like having uncomfortable feet.
I'll spend half my time sending the shoes back because the sizes are inconsistent.
With clothes, shoes, and all that, I can hold on to them as long as possible because I hate change or having to go out and buy, or I don't really go out and buy. Can I do it online? But then having to break into like new shoes or even breaking into new clothes in a way, it just seems like, I don't know, it's just obviously it's an autistic thing. It's just the familiarity of the same clothes, I've had the same pair of shoes for ages now, and the shoes that I have don't have any laces. It's just kind of slip-ons, and they're quite comfortable in most weathers. And just liking the same thing, I suppose, and just use it till it's absolutely done. Must save me money. But I'll probably spend on other things.
Has anybody ever sprayed their shoes, like for cleaning them when rot begins to set in?
My kids have been into that stuff, so we've tried some trainer cleaner, and that did actually work quite well. It was like a mousse consistency.
Inside the shoes, a friend told me
if that's what you mean.
Spray his with surgical spirit, and I'd heard people talk about vinegar, but that might be a step too far. Bicarbonate soda's always a standby, isn't it?
Oh, I filled my son's football boots with bicarbonate soda and he was very mad at me. Apparently it did not make his boots very comfortable afterwards, so I don't know if I would recommend it.
Deodorizer.
Yeah, it does. I felt
is,
better. He didn't.
Apart from cleaning them, of course, polishing them as a spray deodorant into them before I go out, because I've got this fear of I may smell in public, although I probably don't. It's just in case, because there's been the odd time where I can remember standing somewhere and going, what the hell is that smell? Somebody's stinking around here. And it was me. And it was something like dampness. That there was nothing I could do about it. It was just, it was a dampness because I was out in the rain and I was standing in the shop. But I don't know if I was the only one that noticed, because nobody's going to tell you stink, I suppose. But it kind of stuck in my head, so I kind of try and make sure that I put on a lot of fragrances, not a lot, but enough fragrances so that I haven't got the paranoia that I may stink.
There are people whose houses I've never been back to because I blamed them for having a bad smell when it was really my own feet.
I wouldn't even know because I lack a sense of smell.
Is that a recent thing, Robbie? A COVID thing?
No, I've been like that as long as I remember. I initially blamed overuse of nose sprays, but I come to the conclusion the undersensitivity is my autism.
So Lucy can't hear anyone. Is that going to be put down to something at her end, or is it something?
Well, I was looking, but I think if it's Lucy's end, it's Lucy that needs to resolve it. I mean, I tried to put the mute off just to see if that worked, but because she's muted herself. So no, Jules says the sound is working on the system, so it's Lucy's end. Right, there was something else I done last night that I said I wouldn't do again. I went to the pub after the football. I got a little fright this morning because I woke up and I don't remember how I got home. That's never happened to me before. It was a good night. I was having a good chat and all that in the pub and all that. There was no big party or anything like that. Overindulging probably, but I think that's a real lesson. Because you're beginning to think, oh, have I done something or anything? But obviously I haven't. But I just don't like that. It's like, when I was only drinking beer. I don't drink the hard stuff to avoid that sort of thing. And because I'm not a big particular fan of things like vodka and whiskey, but yeah, it wasn't a good thing. But And the weird thing is I only went into the pub because I was needing the toilet, and I don't like going and using the toilet without using the facilities in terms of, giving money back. Because obviously, pubs don't like that. They put signs for say that, and I can get away with it and all that, but I don't like doing that. So instead of having just one pint, I had more. So, but anyway, a lesson to be learned.
Harry, what's the last thing you remember?
Being in the pub and wanting to go home. But I haven't lost anything. I mean, the last time I had issues while walking back from the pub is I lost my phone, but I checked and I woke up. The thing that got me is I knew that I must have been drunk, or my memory was away, but I knew that what made it seem strange is I always set an alarm. And I woke up and no set any kind of alarm, and that just kind of gave me a fright, because that's usually my routine. So I don't think anything's happened as such. I'm just getting off my chest because it happened, and just to remember to watch what I'm doing, and hoping that nobody in my family finds out. Well, nobody will, because I'm just telling yous, and you don't need to put out in public for the recording. So I'm just getting off my chest, really. Just going, what the hell happened there? Everyone's fine, really.
I'm glad you're okay and you've got your phone and stuff.
I actually thought I lost my
And that you're
glasses,
feeling all
but,
right
I
today.
just didn't put them down properly, and they fell off the bedside cabinet. So, yeah. I was kind of thinking out loud there, but it's just strange. I just thought I'd share that, since we're having a wee blather. But thanks, everyone's fine. Everyone is fine. It's just something that's going to give me a wee fright. Like, how can I not remember it like that? But anyway, I'm home and I'm safe, and there's nothing happened. Just need to cut down the beer, or don't go to the pub as often. And saying that, though, it is quite expensive, so I might be cutting down on the pub, actually.
I don't drink anymore. Up in that. I don't drink anymore, but I used to get caught up in the atmosphere sometimes if there was a good atmosphere, and also would sometimes get in trouble if I hadn't eaten enough dinner.
Having a lunch. I was kind of helping out my friend up in Glasgow with his work, and I was going to meet my brother and sister afterwards, in the pub up their way, and I didn't have anything to eat. I felt, I'm not really that hungry, and once you're doing your task, you just don't really bother, but usually I have lunch, but I didn't that day, and I was wondering why I was feeling tired and lacking energy at the end of the day, and then I'm going, for God's sake, I didn't eat today. And then the kind of final straw was trying to actually drink coffee, keep me awake, but I ended up going to bed, not dead early, but, before all the kind of mingling and all that in my brother sister's house finished, I had to go to bed. So, yeah, avoid that. Getting back to the game itself, there's this thing that I can't get a handle of, is when I go and get something to eat, and, at the football stadium, I get something in a black coffee. But because of the way the seating is in the stadium, it's hard to put the coffee down, even though it's got a lid on top of it, without spilling the damn thing. Every damn time I spill it. Try to get used to the rituals. It was definitely a weather for the coffee. Everybody else seems to keep overall. I don't leave overall. I don't see what the hype is. I think it's just a sort of not stereotypical, but just a sort of traditional thing that people seem to do, and they always seem to do it at football matches for some reason. So,
There's a news flash in the comments from India.
yes, I see that. I get you. Yeah, I get you. Jules, I get you. Personal space is important.
Did you ever do that thing where people got too close and you just put your arms out and just start spinning? You know what I mean? Like marking it out.
It reminds me of when you're fighting with your sibling and you got bicycle kicks going on.
Well, I suppose it sort of depends. I can't think of any incident recently, but I have felt at many times of the personal space being invaded by certain people. I mean, I know a certain person, it's just what they do. I'm not, it's like when they talk to you, they step forward. They, but because I'm expecting that to happen now and it's not done with malicious intent, it's like you get used to it. But see, the first couple of times I'm going, alright, I could have probably said, can you stand back a bit? But then I didn't want to cause offence. But I've never had anybody come and get right in my face, aggressively or anything.
Sometimes, Harry, when somebody has a hearing problem, they get quite close. In fact, one of my friends was always argumentative and really easily irritated, and I thought, what's his problem? And it was the fact that I was talking in the wrong ear.
Right. I get it. There's always a reason for how people behave and what people do. A lot of the time, it's not malicious to get at you, but sometimes it bloody is, so I've had that.
So were any recordings done this week? I know Lucy's done a Substack, but I'll wait for her to come back before mentioning that.
Well, I don't do the record, I do the edits. Last week I just had a hell of a... Well, it was a busy week, and then my brother invited me up, and I thought, I don't really see my brother that often, so the time that I would have had to do the edit was my brother's, and I would do it my mum's dad's as well, so... But this week coming up, I've got plenty of time to get some of the edits done, because it's quite strange if you don't see at least one podcast being put on, when Jules gets it and puts it on the Facebook, there hasn't been that many. It's weird because it's like buses, it's like, well, to me, they're like buses, it's like you don't see one for a while and then they come like 3 or 4 in a row. But yeah, I've got time to do I'm actually looking forward to doing the editing work, actually, and listening back to our conversations on the Facebook that we've done, and I'll need to listen to some of the podcasts I wasn't involved in.
We all spoke on Tuesday, didn't we? I mean, I'm getting that feeling like you had this morning, Harry. It's like I can't really remember much of this week.
It has felt like a long week. It's been February break for my kids, so I've been a bit of a taxi this week. But I think I made a recording with Jules on Monday, and then I saw you on the Tuesday very briefly. I really enjoy listening to yours and Jules' recording, Raymond. Like, I was really into like a fair bit of that sort of searching stuff. Of in my own sort of travel experiences, and now kind of I don't live that kind of life at all
Jules
anymore.
His computer hasn't stopped working, so he hasn't been able to do any work this week. He can't fix it till he gets home. But there's many in the pipeline coming.
Yeah, that explains that then. Okay. Yeah, searching Nicola's interesting perspective on it, because I think what I was trying to say was that my travel was done because it was just, in a sense, socialised to see my friends who were far away. But there was an element of searching about it too.
I ended up with like a lot of my dearest friends like being kind of people who were all over different parts of the world and like not where I ended up staying. And it's something as I've got older is been trying to learn how to like let go a little bit more, like still, obviously there's still have them, there's friends, but let go and be willing to kind of let new people in. Because at one point I was like, I thought, I've got really like friends I have really meaningful conversations with, and realised that I was living a very isolated life despite that. But it shifted a bit now.
Have they all come home to roost?
No, they're still all over the place, but like I've got more. I've opened up to more people like in my neighbourhood, I suppose, in my community. And so it's maybe not like it is with some of my, like, you know, lifelong friends where we have these meaningful connections every sort of 5 years or so, and it just like feels like a big, like, I don't know, like there's some sort of mark, like gravity to it, where I have just like lighter day-to-day like connection now, much more so.
Yeah, folk come back into orbit. I had a phone call this week that was quite long from someone I hadn't heard from for a year, but we haven't seen each other since maybe 2010.
It's strange. I mean, I've got a friend that lives round the corner from me, but I hardly ever see him. Because, I don't know, I'm that wrapped up. He works, you know, a lot. And I always seem to be wrapped up in my commitments, and I'm like... But every now and again we do meet up, and he's the one that does the contact, and I need to make more effort on that. I just keep forgetting. We go to the ice hockey in Braehead Arena in Glasgow, and it's always quite good fun. It's kind of ritual he does. We go to the Braehead Centre, and then we kind of go and have a meal and have a blether, because we don't see each other often, so we have a good blether. And we have an evening meal and then go to the ice hockey. And he's asked us a few times and I couldn't go, and I was raging. It was just had other things on. But it's just strange. I see my friend that lives furthest away more often than the one that lives in the corner. And the one that I'm talking about is the one that comes upstairs for the weekend and lives in Glasgow. It's just strange. And as I've got older, I'm saying that my friend that lives furthest up, there's actually one that lives in England, actually. But I haven't spoken to him for years. Even though he was like the friend that I was mostly with while growing up. Just the way the life goes. It's weird thinking about that. It seems like a lot of the time I'm in my own company. And most of the time I feel that's good enough and I choose it, and I do choose it. Although that seems in our society a bad thing. Oh, you want to be yourself, there's something not right with you. What's wrong with being other people? And that includes family, so yep. It's good to have friends though.
When I lost my dad, the changing circumstances ended the majority of the friendships I had. Most of the friends I've got now and you, and most rely on me going to them.
Virtually everybody I know is virtual.
I think that happens if Raymond's unmuted at the same time someone's talking. That's an interesting one though. I'm saying I've got for it. I've not even thought of virtual friends. Even though we do promote it on here. I would regard you as friends. But aye, virtual friends, I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, I've seen it being kind of shared on Facebook. Like, people are saying that the internet is bad. You know, someone's always on the internet and they should be out and meeting new people, blah, blah, blah. But people saying they are meeting new people, they're meeting a lot of new people online. And even though there's these horror stories of what happens to people who meet some people online, I mean, it is in the main a good thing for a lot of people because it's connection. It's like not feeling alone. I mean, right now, I'm sitting in the house myself. I haven't seen anybody since yesterday. And I'm talking to you right now. And you feel that you're in the room with someone and talking away and talking with things in common. So, yeah, it's the virtual friend thing. Yeah, I need to remember that one.
I kind of find it less hassle, I guess, because I don't have to go anywhere. And I think that's a big thing for me. It's like when I have met up with people in the past, I find it really hard work. So sometimes I find that if I can do it over the internet or through, because generally it's through messages and whatever, it's not really talking face to face with someone, or even audio. Sometimes it's just typing. So I've got loads of friends on Facebook. And I guess I regard them as friends. We correspond with each other, but we just don't meet face to face very often.
So I met a lot of people for doing music live streams since I started taking part in that. I'm not going to actually meet up with most of them because they live around the world, but it's still friendship.
I think you could have like so many different kinds of friends and do like have different kinds of friendship with each person. And I like how I like kind of not trying to force it at all, but just see how it unfolds and just be open to that. Because I've got some friends who are like I've got like one in particular who like feels like, I guess people would sort of describe like family or like really close people feel. And then I've got other people that are like are friends that I see at like certain groups and they mean so much to me, but it's like, you know, I might not go and do other things that I do with my other friends. It's just, yeah, it's like, and then the internet friends as well. Like, I think that can be such a supportive thing too. And like Lucy was saying, like, I really relate to that sense of like not having the hassle of the outside world to contend with in order to connect and being able to go, oh, I have to go now. And it's quite easy.
Yeah, but I've got a habit of making it hard. It's like, right, cheerio, and then I start a story saying why I'm saying cheerio, and you're all looking at me like, okay, go. Nice seeing you, but go.
Most of my friendships revolve around doing something with someone, like playing music or singing in a choir, which gets rid of the bit I find difficult with relationships of the conversations, because unlike a lot of autistic people, I don't collect a lot of facts. People quickly get bored in my conversation, and I don't want to talk about all the politics stuff, which usually comes to arguments.
Yeah, I can understand that. I only talk about politics if the friend of mine is actually maybe in the same wavelength or might have a bit of understanding, but I certainly wouldn't want to just speak it to all my friends. 'Cause it can turn into, maybe not an argument, but it could get there, and I just find it, you know, quite uncomfortable conversations, you know, and I've heard other people fall out, you know, I've seen it in the pub, you know, people start when the Scottish independent thing, man, it nearly caused a riot one time, you know, it's just like, ah. But what's good though with many friends and how you meet many friends, as Robbie says, it's like doing something, it's like part of an activity, like play music and writing or doing art and all sorts of things. And I used to enjoy going to social groups years ago where it was a group of autistic people went out to things like pub quizzes and the cinema and stuff like that, which I felt was good at the time. And I had a few friends through that. Although you don't always make friends through these kind of groups, because there's some people you just don't take on because you can't choose your company and who goes to the group. Not that I'm saying I didn't like anybody, it's just like, there's just, you know, there's company you want to be in and company you don't want to be in. And I can understand if people feel the same with me as well, so it's a two-way thing.
In the past, I'm just thinking about this. In the past, I've had people who try to force their friendships on me. So I work with this one particular lady, and you know, I'm a real loner. I really am. I don't like going anywhere or doing anything. I can see I'm pretty much just me. But she kept inviting me to go out and saying, we should go to the pub sometime. We should go out for a meal sometime. And she wasn't getting my sort of signals that this wasn't something I wanted to do. And she was really persistent. So I went, and it was terrible and really, really awkward. But yeah, it was really strange.
Jules was saying in the chat that we can define every contact differently. We can define all of this ourselves. We don't have to copy norms. I really agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. I was actually once not criticised, but somebody made a comment to me because one of my friends was a lot older than me. You know, I was like 20 and my friend was like late 40s. And I met him through not an autistic group, it was a mental health group. He wasn't autistic, but we became good friends over the years, and went on holidays and all that. And people just found it strange because my friend David was older than my dad, and people were saying, and people actually thought he was my dad. And I went to the pub and that way, and it's like, oh, your dad was there, and I went, oh, my dad doesn't come in here. Oh, that's not my dad. It's just people's expectations. So you're right. It's just sometimes people question it, and you're thinking, what are you questioning it for? A friend's a friend. As long as no harm's been done, what is the issue? And what's so-called normal friendship anyway? Everybody's got their different ways of being friends with people and how they stay in contact and how they became friends in the first place. I mean, sometimes being friends is somebody you meet through trauma and things you don't want to remember, but somebody maybe helped you through that. You know, there's all sorts of things. But yeah, totally agree with Jules.
Jules is saying it's the word friend that often causes the problem, not individual contacts. And I guess it is. It's like if we approach it, go, well, this is what friends do. This is having all these expectations. You know, can sort of shut us out, shut I don't know, like disqualify us in a way.
Yeah, words, as we know, words are powerful. Words stick, and words, any kind of terminology, just has that thing, you know, that if you label somebody a word, like even just like friend, it's like there's an expectation of you giving this person that label. So they must do this, they must do that, they must act a certain way, you must be always in contact, you must meet up every so often, more often. And I can see what Raymond's saying about the trust issue. And it's like, you need to trust your friends. You need to trust someone to be a friend, so that word, yeah. So, but I have heard Jules say the term contacts when he's been relating about, talking about someone. So, yeah, that's true. That's true. The word does give a lot of expectation and misleading.
Yeah, because he's gone on to say even the word relationship, I think, talking about causing the problems, and that's why I am using contact. And that makes a lot of sense and untangles quite a lot. I'm not sure if I've brought this up already, but I've had to recently navigate the hug expectation of giving a hug. I think I might have brought it up and saying that particularly if I'm stressed, I find it quite difficult to do the hugs thing. And that was it felt a little bit of like untangling the expectations of friendship there for me too.
The hug thing, yeah, the hug thing is something that I find a little bit difficult, but it's generally people who I know online who, if I meet them in public and we go to something, because, we go to events and things and our paths will cross, they actually have started to ask me if it's okay if they give me a hug. And I quite like that. I like that because it's kind of like, and I'll be like, yeah, fine, no problem, because it's nice that they kind of know my boundaries and that they're not overstepping and doing something that's going to alarm me. So really, I've got some good sort of virtual friends that I meet. So.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I totally agree. And the hug thing. Yeah, sometimes I feel I do need a hug. Honestly. Obviously it depends who it's from, but the boundary thing's a big thing as well. It's like, because I'm uncomfortable with being touched, and because I went to get my bladder checked, at the Stop Hill Hospital in Glasgow, that was an experience. It wasn't that bad, it was just somebody else is touching me. And I just found, don't think about it too much, it won't be long, and it wasn't, and it was as fine as it could be. But it's the touch thing. Even bumping into people in public and things like that. Or if someone sits beside me in a bus or a train, it's like, oh, don't I don't shiver or shiver or shudder or anything like that, but I do have that kind of feeling of discomfort. But I do like hugs.
Whilst I was going through physiotherapy, this shoulder of mine that's still not properly healed from June last year, I was going through a lot of physio for that, and also going to the hospital, to the fracture clinic and things like that. And I've always felt uncomfortable with it, especially with the physio, because it's really hands-on, and that it's like, and I was really recoiling from it a little bit, and I knew I was doing it for a reason, and I was trying to get through it, but I'd come out of there feeling just a little bit strange, a bit icky, like some boundaries have been crossed and I didn't like it, but it's trying to suppress that feeling and just say, greater good and all that. But it was weird.
I could relate to that. At one point, I thought I had to go and get a massage to kind of be okay with being touched. This was before I knew I was autistic. And I went along and just felt, and I didn't enjoy myself at all. And I came away feeling really, really drained and tired and quite uncomfortable. So I think it feels, for me, it's felt really important to like listen to my body, but I know what you mean about when it's essential and for the greater good, having to sort of I would have to really talk myself through that.
The massage thing happened to me as well. I was given massage therapy as sort of to help with my depression. They thought it'd be nice if I went and had a massage, and it was the most awkward thing. And I came out there and I was exactly the same, felt really like I'd gone through a lot of effort. I felt the least relaxed I ever had been after that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's something that seems to be recommended willingly to everyone, not everyone, but it's recommended at a massage if you're stressed out or if you're going through a hard time. It is something that's, it can help. But if you don't like getting touched, that's going to stress you out. How would that help? Obviously, there's certain situations that it's medically important to have, but it's something certainly I wouldn't want to do. And I'm actually surprised that people can get through it. Someone touching you. I think there was one time years ago where I was at an event and it was somebody giving massage, no massage, kind of shoulder rubs. And when they done it to me, and my shoulders are always quite tense, I think the whole body's tense actually, just the way I operate, it's just the way that I am, it's just like, coldly up, it's just this tension in my body. And when they gave me that massage, I felt worse after it. Because I couldn't relax, because I was actually embarrassed at, what's happening, and I was really annoyed at how's this not working. It's because I was tense all the way through it, and I wouldn't bother with it. It need to be somebody really close for that to happen anyway, to be touched like that. It wasn't a nice experience. No harm in the person that was doing it. They were nice. It was, it was fine that way. It's just something that I did and didn't like.
I just wanted to reply to Jules here, because he said that he thinks it's really great that people ask me about hugging and personal space. Really, he said that it's great, Lucy, that they ask you, because caring for you and being different, and it is really nice. If somebody has listened to you and understood you and has kept that with them for until they meet you the next time, and then it's still with them, and they're careful of you, then yeah, I mean, I see that as being something really, really positive and nice, and a hug's fine after that.
Most of the issues I've had is with people infantilising me and telling me how I have to behave. And
Yeah, I can remember that, Okay, well, not so much now, but I do remember, like, I was kind of told, like, you behave, you calm down, don't act in a way that's noticeable. I think I did see if I wasn't happy with something, I used to make it dead obvious, even as an adult, and it was just like, I was kind of put down a little bit, saying, like, you behave yourself and all that, and it did annoy me. Even though part of it was maybe my fault, but it's not a nice thing. It's like someone saying, right, you calm down. Let's folk You know, a few weeks ago, my birthday, my own kind of birthday occasion, I was getting kind of loud and shouting because I'm happy, you know, and I was told, no, calm down. Calm down. And I go like, this was a surprise 40th birthday thing, and I was told to calm down. So yeah, I can totally relate in some ways.
His ex-friend was behaving like she was my parent, and the kind of friendship she likes is where she's totally in control.
It's that word friend again, isn't it? Because that does happen to a lot of people, unfortunately. It's like people they think they're helpful, or some people just because that's what they want to do, and it's like a power trip. I don't understand why people can be that way, but there's plenty of people out there. The thing about making things obvious that I don't like something, because it's kind of funny now, and I put up with it, is I go down to Mum and Dad's, you know, for my dinner, you know. I'm lucky enough to have that. And they always watch the news. I don't know. It's like a routine my dad's in, he watches the Scottish news, and then he watches the UK-wide news. And because of all the things that are happening at the moment, you know, it's like the Donald Trump latest and stuff, it's just like, what I hear of this? You know, you're aware of a lot of stuff and all that, but the news loves bad news, and they get into great detail, and it's horrible when obviously something they can talk about, like, you know, a tragedy or a murder or stuff like that, and they talk about it for 10 minutes straight. And I'm just happy enough that I've got my phone to sort of distract me. But sometimes it's part of the conversation as well, and it's just like, oh, I kind of jokingly kind of make a fool of it, rather than what I used to do was moan. And I could tell, if you don't like it, you hate. So now I just make it a jovial kind of thing. In fairness, if the news does a good news story, I go, and what? You call that news? So, can you please me? I'm very hard to please, so media, stand back.
With the way autism affects me, it's pretty obvious when I'm unhappy, and there's not a thing I can do to hide it. And it took me well over 40 years to realise that there was absolutely no point in masking, because I couldn't mask the vital bits that would actually give any benefit.
Yeah, totally agree on that. And I've kind of felt the same way. It's like behaviour and being the way you are is different. And I think people kind of get confused with the two. There's certain things you do, certain things you are, and it's just part of you, and you shouldn't feel, or people shouldn't feel the need to hide it or mask. But sometimes the masking thing can be something that's, you know, done on purpose just to make things a little comfortable, just depending on the company, depending who you are.
I sometimes have to wear sunglasses or put my hood up because I'm like, my face is going to say so much out loud if I don't cover it up. Or it feels like that. Like I somehow feel like I can get really kind of uncomfortable kind of being seen when I'm feeling stuff.
Yeah, I get it. I can remember when I was feeling kind of vulnerable some time ago, and the only place I really went to at the time was a local shop, but it was winter time, so I waited till it got dark before I actually left the house because I didn't want to be seen. Not that I was hiding, I just didn't feel comfortable because I wasn't feeling comfortable within myself. So I can totally get that.
With the exception of people usually mistake me being angry when I'm anxious, people usually pretty accurately know how I feel. So if people are not going to accept me that way, I tend to stay away.
That was a great discussion.
Well, it's 5:44 now, so our drop-in hour is finished, and thank you to all the people who have texted, and also to the people who have put their voices to this, that are going to allow us to put some of those words out into the podcast. If you join us here at the 444, your voice isn't recorded, your text isn't recorded, but the people here have given permission so that it's an example for others. See you again, always reliably, Sunday, 4:44 p.m. Cheers, guys.